Hello folks, it's been a while since we've touched the game of Magic, and right now we're back to talk about the next stage of play. We've covered the introduction and we've covered the basic setup. Well, to recap, you can have your deck. When you're setting up your deck, you can have any combination you want. You can have 30 lands to 30 cards, you can have 50 lands to 20 cards, or anything like that. Your maximum library, when I talk about library, it means that basically your deck. Okay, the maximum cards you can have is 250, so you can get wild, go creative, but then usually people they stick around with 60 to 80 cards. That's usually what players have the deck number, the card number for the decks at. Okay, so now we just jump right into the game. We're now going to have an opponent to make things simpler. Okay, assume that we've just cut our decks, and I want a cut, so I chose to start first. Okay, 7 cards drawing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the rest goes down to the table. Okay, now we just look at the cards that we have. Usually I just choose to put my land on the extreme end. No, actually I put it to the extreme right. And then I'll sort out my cards like creatures first, and then the spells, and then sorcery, instant sorcery, and then enchantment. Okay, so I have 3 creature cards and 1 enchantment over here. And next thing I'll do is I'll sort according to mana cost. Like Marrow Regery, this is 3 mana, so I put it here because these two are 2 mana each. And then, since it's my turn, let me get the camera down a bit. Yeah, much better. Okay, since it's my turn, first turn, I lay a land. And I say, I'm done. So the opponent lays a land and summons a creature or do anything if he can. Now it's my turn. I draw another card. It's either tones. It's an instant, so I put it behind my creatures. You could have any way to pack your hand. Your hand is the cards in your hand. Well, yeah. Okay, so now it's my turn again. I have a choice of placing island or plains, but usually for me I'll put the plains. Well, it's more like a strategic move, like in case because this is a multicolor deck, well, not really multi, it's a dual color deck, so I have blue, I have things that require blue and white mana, and since I already have a blue, I must put a white just in case my next draw might be something that requires white mana. And okay, let's say I have a choice of summoning these 2, Stony Brook Banneret and Ink Dissolver. Well, the obvious choice is the Stony Brook. Why? Because of its effects. Merfolk spells and wizard spells you play cost 1 less to play. So how do I summon the creature? I just tap my mana. Tapping is more like using your mana. So it's out. Put it on the battlefield, and all creatures, when they're just summoned out, they have summoning sickness, meaning they can't attack when they are summoned unless they have an ability called haste. Okay, now I end my turn. Since my mana is used up, I can't do anything. Opponent does something. It's my turn again. Untap your land. Oops, sorry. And draw a card. Now I have Marrow Levitator. Okay, now I can lay another land. Remember, laying of land is 1 land per turn. Okay, now I have 3 mana, and yet I can summon these 2. Why? because of the effect of this card. It costs 1 colorless mana to play. Okay, let's say this ink dissolver costs only 1 blue mana. It still costs 1 blue mana. It's not for free. The mana cost reduction is only affecting the colorless one. So I tap all 3 mana. Then I summon these 2. Okay, since this was summoned the last turn, I can use it to attack. And because of the effects from the Marrow Regery, other merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1. So this guy is now a 2/2. I use him to attack and deals 2 damage to the enemy. Okay, now that I've attacked, the opponent might choose to block my creature, or he may choose to take the damage directly. Okay, let's suppose he takes the damage directly, and he's now left with 18 life. His turn ends, my turn. Untap everything that is tapped. Okay, so now we draw a card. It's a land, late. Now I've got 4 mana to play with. Okay, let's say I'm gonna choose to summon this, my Marrow Commerce. I tap 1 mana and place the enchantment down, and because of this Marrow Regery, it says whenever you play a merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent. So I decided to untap my land, which means I got 4 mana again. And let's see. Okay, I've decided to summon this Marrow Levitator. Okay, it is 3 colorless and 1 blue. So that makes it 2 colorless and 1 blue. So I just tap 2 of my planes and 1 island, summon it out. Whoa, it's a bit out of space, yeah. Okay, so I decided to attack again. Oh man, actually I forgot to do something. I have an ink dissolver. Its effects is kinship. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top card of a library. If it shares a creature type with ink dissolver, you may reveal it, and so on and so forth. Okay, merfolk. Well, by now you already should know that this is a merfolk deck. And just now, during my turn, if I had done this, it would have done nothing because what I drew was a plains. But let's say I fast forward it now. Again, my turn. At the beginning of my turn, I review this. I draw this card, Silver Gear Adept. And if I decide to what's this? If I decide to review this card to the opponent, review as in let him see, then all of my opponent, in this case just 1, will put the top 3 cards of his library into the graveyard. Okay, the graveyard is a place where your how did I say this? Where your after your let's say your creature dies, it goes to the graveyard. Let's say you use an instant, and that instant has no ability to revive itself or anything, it goes to the graveyard. Okay, let me show you. Let's say I attack with everything. Then my opponent decides to use something big like 8/8 to block one of my creatures, and then what I do is I pay 4 mana, 4 because this is not a merfolk card. I tap all 4 mana to use either toll. I can put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. So definitely you would choose to put the opponent's blocker on top of his library. So this card, once it's used, it goes in the graveyard. You can no longer use it unless you have some other cards, or if the card has some inherent ability to revive itself, to let it go back to your library or go back to your hand. Otherwise it stays in the graveyard forever. Well, that's about it for the playing side. I'll be going more into depth the next time we meet. And well, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. So I'll see you again, and goodbye.